Hi, my name is Eric Dummer. I'm a student at Viterbo University. I'm doing an informative speech on changing a tire on an automobile for my Communication 150 class. Murphy's Law would state that if you're going to be heading to a warm climate for a vacation, and you're coming from a cold climate, you're going to experience a problem such as having a flat tire in winter when you least expect it. It's bad enough driving in winter with the snow and cold, let alone having to deal with a flat tire. CDC recommends that everyone have an emergency kit in their vehicle. This emergency kit could include items such as extra clothes, blankets, gloves, hats, boots, granola bars, water, just to make sure that you're prepared for the conditions that you may encounter out on the road. You never know what you're going to encounter. This picture is a situation I dealt with this last winter in North Dakota. It was a blizzard where visibility was less than 10 feet. I would have hated to have to change a tire in conditions like this where it's so cold and visibility is so low. So I'm going to walk you through the steps today of safety, preparation, and instruction. First, safety. Know the location of your spare. It can be in your trunk, it can be under your vehicle if it's a truck or a minivan. Know where your hazard lights are. You need to use these when you're changing the tire so that other people can see you. And then also know the tools of your vehicle that are being used for changing the tire. So preparation. Michelin recommends that you check the tread depth of your tires monthly. They recommend using a penny and inserting Lincoln's head down inside the tread. If you can see his entire head, that means your tires need to be replaced and they aren't legal and safe. Popular Mechanics recommends that you also check the torque values of your lug nuts on your vehicle in your warm garage. Most mechanics that do service work on your vehicles, when they're changing your tires, use these impact drivers, and they usually tighten the lug nuts way too tight. When you're stuck out on the road in a snowstorm or a rainstorm, you have to try to get those lug nuts loose and you don't have the luxury of the pneumatic tool. So what do you do if your tire goes flat while you're driving? GM recommends that if you have a rear tire that goes flat, you want to treat it as you would any other skid. You want to make sure you're slowing down. You want to control that vehicle, make sure you're gripping the steering wheel firmly, and lastly, don't panic. You need to control the vehicle and get it off of the roadway so that you can do the work. Next, you want to find a safe place off the travel surface where you're visible and you have a level, stable surface to work from. I don't think this guy has a level, stable surface. Unfortunately, it looks like he's out in the middle of a swamp and has a flat tire he's got to deal with. So preparation, understanding your vehicle tools. You want to check the air pressure in your tires monthly according to GM. You also want to know what the tools are. In one of my vehicles, I have a safety triangle, a jack, and a tire iron. I know where these tools are in the vehicle and how to use them. Lastly, you want to make sure that you know the jacking points of your vehicle. So where can the jack go on the frame? You want to make sure that you aren't putting yourself in danger by jacking up the vehicle in an incorrect spot or possibly wrecking your vehicle. So now that you have a flat tire, what do? Make sure your car is in park and your emergency brake is set. Next, you'll place the jack underneath the frame next to the tire that's flat. You want to block wheels opposite corners of where the flat tire is to help prevent the vehicle from rolling while you're doing your work. And lastly, you want to break those lug nuts loose, half of a turn counterclockwise before you jack up the vehicle. Once you have those lug nuts broken loose, jack up the vehicle in the air, get the tire about 1 inch off the ground. You want to take your spare tire and you want to place that under the frame of the vehicle for safety reasons. In case the vehicle would fall, this will help protect you. You want to take the lug nuts and tire off, switch your spare and your flat tire under the frame. So that flat tire will now be your safety cushion. You want to place that spare on the hub of the vehicle, and according to Edmunds, you want to start tightening those lug nuts by hand. The reason you do this is so that you don't cross thread those lug nuts and then you'll be stuck out on the road. Tightening lug nuts, there's a few different patterns. You can have an odd number of lug nuts or an even number of lug nuts. There's different patterns that you want to follow for tightening them. When you have an odd number of lug nuts, you want to use a cross pattern going diagonally to make sure that you're evenly tightening those lug nuts on that tire. When you have an even number, you want to use an across diagonal pattern. You want to start at one location and make sure that you're going across as far as you can to the opposite side. Don't over tighten your lug nuts at this point in time with the vehicle off the ground. You want to get those lug nuts snug, but don't over tighten where you're going to push the vehicle off the jack. Now that you've gotten to this point, remove the flat tire from under the frame. Lower your jack down so your vehicle is lightly touching the ground. Popular Mechanics recommends that everybody carry around a torque wrench, and at this point tighten with that torque wrench to make sure you have the correct torque specs for your lug nuts. Finally, you'll lower your jack to the ground, and I would recommend tightening them one more time just to make sure that your wheel's not going to fall off when you're driving. At this point, you're ready to put your tools away. You want to put your flat tire back in the spot where your spare tire was, and you want to get to a service garage to repair or replace your tire. Once your tire is repaired or replaced, make sure you're putting that spare tire back in the compartment so it's there next time you need it. With this awareness and instruction, the intent is to keep you safe and prepared on the road. Ideally, you won't have to take these steps and experience the start of your next vacation. Thank you.